I am going to group this flower and copy it. Group on group 1 is taken, so group 2, and then you can right click and click copy, or you can do Control C, and then I'll do design new or Control N. I'm going to just say no because I already saved it. And then once I get here, hold Control and press V as in Victor on your keyboard. So there's that. It might take a minute to show up. It looks like I have my Janome hoop on. So with it selected, I'm going to hold Control and Alt and hit C. Okay, just to bring it into the center because I'm in a different, smaller hoop. So the design actually might have been off the hoop somewhere. So there's the flower. It's 200 wide by 193 tall. And actually, I'm just going to keep it as a reference. So I think what I'll do is I am going to change my hoop. I'll do Options, Settings, Hoop, Custom. I'm going to go with, say, 500 by 500 for right now. And hit Done. Here's my 0 and 0. And actually, yeah, 500 tall wasn't really tall enough. Maybe I should have done 1,000 in height. Yeah, I guess I will. I'll just do 1,000. 1, 0, enter, enter. I guess I'll just do 1,000 by 1,000. Okay, so we should have like a clean slate. And here's my 0, 0. I wish these were darker, but you could see 0, 0. And to make a petal, a molar petal such as that, and I'm going to be making, I guess I should have brought it a little closer. To make this shape, you could do it so many different ways. You can actually just bring in a heart that you have, a regular heart shape, or you can use one of Embird's hearts and then round this part off on the heart. And I'll show you how to do the rounding part. Or you can make 2 ovals that slant into each other. So I'm going to just do the 2 ovals. So we'll click the fill because we're going to union the ovals. So we might as well just start with a fill. And so we'll click the fill, wait for this screen to show up. And I'll just click once, shape, ellipse, 16 elements. I'm not going to hold Control because I don't need for it to be, symmetrical. And I kind of want it a little fat on the bottom, but I'll just hit enter. And I could possibly make it fatter looking by either widening it or shortening it or what have you. I see the size is 128 by 159. I'm going to go ahead and make it like in height. This one from here, let's get my measuring tape, from like here to say where it would have ended is about only 65 in height. So I hit escape. So this one is pretty big. So let me go into transformation window. Click on the transform button on the left. Size tab. I kind of like the width in relation to the height. So I'm going to check keep aspect ratio, and I'll just make the height, say, I don't know, we'll go with 70. Enter twice and hit apply. And I'm going to click on options, snap object, snap to grid. Let me zoom in a little bit, my plus sign. Let's kind of bring this down and snap it. So it's snapped to the 0. I don't really need to do a lot of snapping right now. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to slant it. And I'm just going to click it once to get the rotation handles. And I'm going to kind of slant it to where I think it might look good when I do the other one. The more you slant it, the wider the bottom will be. And again, probably should have had this a little bit closer. So the more you slant it, the wider it'll be down there. And sometimes that looks prettier. So I'm going to kind of go with that slant. And then I'm going to copy and paste it. Control C, Control V. And then click on the second one. And go ahead and flip it horizontally. Transform, flip horizontal. And then I'll just hold control, you don't have to, and just kind of move it. And then I'll kind of see how that looks. That's going to be pretty wide. I mean, it's okay. I could work with that. From here to here, I could look up at the grid, or I could measure it. It's about 100. And from here to here on this one is about 70. So escape. I don't know, maybe I want to bring it in a little. I'll just hold control and I'll snap it there. See what that is about. It's 90. Sometimes if you make it too wide at the bottom, they overlap, and I'm going to show you how we get it to not overlap. We might not get to that on this video. This video we might actually just be doing the petal, to be honest. Maybe I'll just go in just a little bit. Let me hit escape. And I'll click on this and hold control. Even though I'm snapping, I snapped one more grid mark. So maybe it's like 80 now. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 80. So it is a little wider than this one. So let's kind of go with that. So I'll hit escape. There's several ways I could go about this. I think what I'll do first is I'll select one, hold control, select the other, and I'm going to just go ahead and union them. And so union is a build. So build, shaping, union, and it creates a whole new design. So I can click on these two, group them, group one, right click group one, more, turn them yellow, and then just hide them. I'll just keep them for reference, long press. And so now with this one, you say to yourself, well, okay, I have to fix that point down there. So we want it to be a curve. The easiest way that I've found is to create like a double S. Let's make sure that it's centered. I'm not sure if it is. So transform, center. We're just going to center it horizontally. I'm going to snap it down to this grid line right here because I'm going to use that grid line. So I'm going to hit Control S and save this as Molar Flower quilt in the hoop. I'll just put lesson, hit enter twice, and I'm going to create like a line. I've done this so many different ways, but I think creating the line is the one I like the best. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of go below it at first so you could see it, but I'm going to create a double S curve. So I'll click the outline tool here, and I'll click once. Now I'm going to zoom in because I'm going to snap to the grid. So let me snap to grid, uncheck all the other snapping. But I want to snap to the smaller grid, the tinier one, because I want to kind of mimic this curve here. And I can't mimic this curve with snapping to these larger grids. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to just hold my zoom button or my plus button on my keyboard. I know I have to go like 4 times or something. Okay, there's the grid, and I'm kind of okay right there, 3.4 times. And I want to kind of make like a double S curve, maybe starting at this, at the 20, okay, and ending over here at the 20. So I'm negative 20, 20. And then I'll just start it like down here on the 80. So I'll snap it there. And then I want the rest of my S to be here. So I'm just going to snap or click and then snap right here, just 10 mils away, and try and mimic this. So I'll be like on the halfway mark. You know, if this is 10 squares, this would be the 5th one. And I'll just snap down maybe one of those squares. Let me scroll up a hair and zoom in just a little more. And so I'll click here, hit end on my keyboard, and then I'm going to come up and curve. So my curve is going to be here. So if my curve is going to be here, my next square node has to be way over here. So since I'm way over here, right, like I'm spanning 20 mils instead of just the 10, I probably need to take this up not one square in order to make this smooth on either side of the square nodes. I probably have to take it up 2 squares. And now you could see it's nice and smooth on either side. And then I'll hit end on my keyboard or click this. And then the last node then will be in the same horizontal plane. So you could see all these square nodes are on the same line. I'll just click here, and then this one will come down, the 1, just like this one. And it's kind of mimicking that curve. It may not be perfect, but it's a great start. And you may say to yourself, well, can't I just insert to turn this into a square node? You know, delete all of these and then do edge, mirror, mirror horizontally. Yes, you could, but we don't want this to be a square node yet, if ever. We will if we need it later, but for right now, we'll just leave it round. And then I'll hit enter. And there's your nice curve. I'm going to hit Control S. And I'm going to just kind of bring it up. Now remember, we have options, snap objects to grid. So, and remember our blue object is snapped to this grid right here. So we're going to get this to snap. So this bottom edge here is going to snap to this same grid as the blue. So I'll hold Control. You could see it's snapping, and there it's snapped. Okay. And then hit edit so we can fix the ends. So we'll start at this end. We want to delete this, but we have to make this square because we don't want this to go away. Because this round node goes with this. That's why the arrow is pointing at it. So with this selected, we'll just hit insert. And so now that's a square node. Hit end on your keyboard or click this and hit delete. Now we want this gone, but you can't delete a beginning node. So you come up to edge, reverse nodes order. Now this is an end node. Our beginning's over here. With that selected, we have to insert to make this square. Insert, this is square, hit end on your keyboard, hit delete, and there you go. Now it's all snapping really nice, and you could see we have like an S over here and an S over here. That's why I call it a double S. So we're just going to hit enter and control S, and now we'll conform the blue one to that line. So we'll just leave it as a fill for right now. That's fine. So before I start editing the blue fill, I'm kind of thinking ahead and thinking, okay, when I start editing this blue fill, I'm going to want to be snapping to the green, but I'm probably or maybe going to need to snap to the blue itself. And remember, you can't snap to something that you're editing. So you have to copy and paste this, Control C, Control V, turn that one yellow or turn this one yellow, either or. I'll just turn this one yellow. Click more, drag this in. Because now, okay, so we'll edit this one. When we edit this, if we do need to snap to this one, well, we'll just be snapping to this. So now we have two things we can snap to. You don't want to lose the integrity of the blue in some parts, and you never know. So it's always best to just copy and paste it before you start changing it. And when you turn it yellow, that lets me know I can delete it later or delete it in editor or what have you. So I'll hit Control S, I'll click on the blue, and I'll hit edit. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I don't need this to be a square node because I'm going to be snapping to this node here. You can see the little nodes on the green, and these are hidden under here. We'll get to those in a minute. But I'm just going to delete this square node. Okay, now it's a round node. I'm going to snap it to the green outline. Oh, and I forgot to show you, make sure you have snap to node on the left. So that's all you need for this minute, for right now. And then here's a green node here. I'm going to zoom in with my plus sign just a little bit more. I'm going to make sure this node and this node are in view because we don't want to mess with these two blue nodes because our outline ends here. We're leaving this intact. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this one, snap to this node on the green outline. Same thing on the left, snap to this node. And now let's just move this away. Now I can move this away without disturbing the blue outline because I have a square node and a square node. So when I move this away to see what's going on, you know, nothing after the blue gets distorted. So it looks like there's 3 nodes here, but this one in the center is actually part of the blue fill. And if I wouldn't have copied and pasted, I wouldn't be able to snap to this node. But since I copied and pasted the blue fill, I could even snap to this node if I wanted. And that's good because you can see I need at least 2 nodes. And if I click on this and do insert, I'm going to get 2 more. That means I'm going to have 3 altogether. Well, good thing that I copied and pasted that blue because I have 3 nodes now I can snap to. So with this selected, I'll hit insert. There's my other 2 nodes. They're round, and this one turned square, of course. So we'll snap this one here. It's fine. And snap and snap. Oh, that doesn't look good with that being square. Okay. Let me zoom in. Yeah, I could tell that's not going to do well. So let's backtrack. In that case, I think what I'll do is I'll put this one over here, and I'll just put this one here because now it's smooth. Okay. And then this one I'll snap to this object edge. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me move back. I'm holding let me zoom out of here. Oh, I can't get it on. Okay, so you can see all the blue nodes. So then over here, I am going to have to insert because I have a node here on the green outline. It's underneath this yellow circle. That just means that's the end of my green outline. And then we're going to snap to this one. But then we're going to have an extra node just like this one. So with this selected, we'll do insert. We'll snap this one to the end. We'll put this one here. It just makes it smoother. Now with these two round ones, there's no nodes to snap to, but remember we've got the fill that we copied and pasted. So we're going to snap to this object edge of the fill that we pasted. So uncheck snap to node, check snap to object edges, and now that should be smooth. You know, you can slide it around in there, and that's such a short distance, you should be fine. Same thing over here. So now I think it's going to be really pretty. So I'll hit enter and I'll hit Control S. I'm just going to delete these because they're going to get in the way. I could hide them, yes, but you know, sometimes we get confused. And here's this S outline that I could save that. I'll just turn it yellow because you know it takes a minute to make an S, especially this double S. It's really nice. I could save it as a shape even. But I'm going to hide it. Long press. So now, if I hit Control 1, that's kind of pretty. The only other thing I need to do now is to make these ends open. So that means that, you know, up here, that means it can't be a fill anymore. It has to turn it into an outline, which is fine. And so we'll go to Convert, Fill, Create Outlines. So there's my outline, and I'm just going to delete the fill. Because you can always make a fill from an outline. However, we're gonna mess with this. So should I have kept it? I don't know. Maybe I'll Control Z. Okay. I'll just turn it yellow and I'll hide it. Control S. So now we have our outline. And so now you say, well, okay, I know I want to separate this up here, you know, delete this section here, but I don't know how much of it to delete because the hardest part about making a continuous feather or continuous flower petal, you know, it continues from here, these two meet exactly at this point. That's pretty hard to do. And I've tried a bunch of different methods and I'm stumbling upon one that I kind of like. Honestly, it doesn't take as long as just trial and error and making it wide and then doing rotate and seeing if they match up. That just takes too long. So I'm going to kind of decide in my mind how big I want my petal to be, how big I want my center to be, and so on. And so I could bring in my swirl center now, or I could just say, okay, well, I'm going to have 5 petals. So if you think about it, that's five petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I just draw? I drew a pentagon. Okay. So you could just add a pentagon and put it in the center, 0, 0. Here's 0 and 0, so this has to be moved down a hair. I'm going to hold control and just snap it down to, let's see, that's 0, 10, 20. I'll snap it down to 20. And I'm going to put a pentagon here. Okay. Control S. And so that pentagon's going to be an outline. So I'll click the outline tool. I'll click once. And then I'll hit shape, polygon, 5-sided. Here's my pentagon. And it's going to be in the center. Everything's going to be symmetrical. So I'm going to hold control. And I'm going to drag it out and just hit enter. And then I want it centered on 0, 0. So hold control, alt, and then C. And how big do I want that pentagon? How big do I want my center? Well, you could see this center is pretty big. Let's see, measure it. This is without a pentagon. It's about 60. So maybe I'll make my pentagon, say, whoops, escape, say 70. And I'm going to make it a darker color. I'll just make it gray or black or whatever. So I'll just go into the transformation window. When you go into the transformation window, it'll stay centered. Go size. Oh, it already is 70. It's over 70. Since it's a pentagon, it's a different size, you know, size and width. So that's kind of not too helpful, but I mean, length and width and height, I should say. I don't know why that measured 70 wide. So let's make this one, I mean, this is a smaller petal, it seems, that I've made, and I could extend this out and make it longer, and I might do that. Let's go ahead and make this, I'm going to just be different. Make it 80. And I kept the aspect ratio. I'll hit apply and see how it stayed centered. I'm going to take this, oops, I have to hit the check mark. I'm going to take this outline, I'm going to hold control and maybe move it down to there, say. And I'll hit control 1. And I say to myself, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll have it, you know, maybe I'll delete this section here. It ended up right in the corner. That was really convenient. I didn't really plan that. But, you know, even if it didn't, you can always make it end there. You know, just by deleting certain sections of your petal. But do I want the petal to be that short? I think I'm going to take it and extend it. So I'm just going to, whoops, 1, 2, 3 on the plus sign. Oh, it's still going down. Okay. I'm going to take it and maybe extend it, bump it down. I guess I'll bump it down to there. I don't know, that's kind of pretty. And now if I look at it, it's not lining up anymore in the corners. And I could, you know, take it and move it up if I want. There's so many ways I could go about this, but I kind of know that once I delete this, this section has to be slightly straight. That's so that my petals don't overlap, because when they're curved, they have more of a tendency to overlap when you rotate duplicates around. So I'm going to kind of leave that as is, and I'll take my petal. Now I only have one petal. I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to copy and paste it. Control C, Control V. I'll turn this one yellow and hide it. I'll press Control S. I'll click on this one. I'll hit Edit. Okay, and I'll kind of zoom in. And you can see these two are kind of close to the edge. They're on the bottom side of it. That's good because I could drag them up to snap to this point and make this part kind of straight. And the end node is always selected, so you can hit end again on your keyboard, and I'm just going to delete. Oh, it's going this way. I don't know why I always work on the right side, but I'm going to reverse my nodes order. Okay, so now this is the end. It's going to delete this way. We got to delete these anyways. Well, not really, because I'm only going to work with one half. And you'll see it's just easier. You don't have to do both halves. So I'm going to delete down to here. Delete, delete. So put snap to node on. Uncheck that. Snap up there to that corner of the pentagon. We want this to be kind of straight, so let me zoom out a little. And you want to say, okay, if we make this straight, or kind of straight, where should we, how much of these should we delete? And I would say, I don't want to come down this far. I would say right here. So this node is going with this square node. So delete. Okay, so we only have one round node. You know it's round because there's an arrow, and plus you have an option to make it straight. But if you don't want there to be a point here, you kind of want to pull this out so that your new line runs over your previous line that was here, you know. So let's just take it, and we're not snapping to anything. I could have copied and, well, actually, yeah, I did copy and paste it and turned it yellow, but I'm snapping to node. Is there a node to snap to? Oh yeah, there's this one here, the yellow one. I could snap there, but I'm exposing my green line. Let me snap to object edge of the yellow one that we copied and pasted, and I'll slide it around. Okay, and as I slide it, I'm looking on this side of the square node and this side to make sure they're streamlined. You know, if I slide it here, okay, it's sticking out there. If I slide it up, okay, it looks pretty darn good right about there. And so I don't want to mess with the other side too. You know, it's just a waste of time, and it's never, you never get it perfect. So let's just click down here. Now this, remember, was a round node. So let's click on it. This is the time we have to make it square because we're going to split it here. You can't split a round node. See, if I right click, the split is grayed out. So you have to insert. So I could click insert here or up there. You know, doesn't matter. Oops, click it. And now it's a square node. Right click, split object. We'll delete the left side. Click on the right side over in the object window because you don't want to move this. And then hit edit. And to mirror this, this has to be the end node. So we have to reverse stitches, edge, reverse nodes order rather. Now it starts here, ends there. Now do edge, mirror, mirror, duplicate and mirror horizontally. Okay. And hit enter. And so I don't know how well that's going to go. I'm not sure. It might still overlap, to be honest, because it's different. It's shaped a little different. This one is more triangular, you know. This one kind of fans out. Let me hit Control 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe. So I think we're going to have overlap, but let's just see. 3, 4, 5. That's good enough. So I'm going to rotate it. Let me hit Control S with it selected. I'm going to go to Transform, Transformation Window, Rotate. I want 5, number per revolution. We want the rotation in the center of the work area. So that's going to be here. So I'm pretty far away from it. You know, I used to be 20. Now I'm really far down. So, yeah, now I'm down 40. And my pentagon, I thought I centered my pentagon. Let me make sure. My pentagon, Control Alt C. Oh, I selected that as well. Okay. Oh, I hope I didn't move that. I think I did. Oh, well. So with the pentagon, Control Alt C. I did it again. Control C. We just want to select the pentagon. Hold Control and Alt and hit C. So it is centered. So let's just try it. And let's do Transform, Transformation Window, number 5. Put the rotation center in the work area center, meaning the center of the hoop. Click. Plus sign jumped up here. Apply to duplicate. Hit this 4 times because we already have a 5th one. Okay, so it's far away. That's okay. Don't worry. 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go ahead now and click the check mark. And guess what I messed up on? Do you see when I click on this first one, do you see the red dot up in the left corner over here? It's ending on the left. We need it to end on the right in order for this to stitch seamlessly because the rotations go counterclockwise. So our design has to end on the right. So I think we're going to be okay, but let's hold shift, select these, hit delete, select this, hit edit, and go to edge, reverse nodes order. So now it's ending here. You can't see that, but the red dot is here. Control C. See, it was starting here and ending there. When you hit edge, reverse nodes order, it reverses. So now it's ending there. Okay, hit enter. The check mark. Now do Control S and do rotate, transform, transformation window, rotate 5, put this rotation axis in the center of the hoop, apply to duplicate 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's okay that they're not snapped to. We're going to do that in a minute. Hit the check mark. And yes, that you still see scissors because obviously they're not connected, but at least they're all going in the right direction as far as the nodes. So click on the second one, go to transform, snap to previous, and there it's snapped and we don't have any overlap. So this is a new shape now. This one's slightly different. I always get a different shape. click on this one, transform, snap to previous. Now you see the scissors didn't go away. That's because it's snapping, but we have to go in and do the nodes in a minute too on each of these. And we have to align the beginning node to the previous node. That's because Embird is like so exact, okay? Just because we're snapping, we're not technically snapping good enough. Sometimes that does happen, but we're going to do this first to get it like almost right there, you know. Transforms, oh, wrong one. Click here, transform, snap, and then the last one, there's, yeah, transform, snap. Okay. So, oh, look, that one did snap correctly. But let's click on the second one since we still have a scissor, and let's go into the edit, and our beginning node here, we're going to do nodes, align beginning to previous. I wish we had an icon for this like we do in Studio Regular, but we don't. There's Control F1, but I mean, who's going to do that? I guess if you do this enough, you'll get used to it. So I just clicked that, hit enter, and you see the scissor went away. Click this one, edit, nodes, align beginning to previous, enter, and that went away, and we just have to do this one, edit, nodes, align beginning to previous, enter. And so there you go. And so this will stitch seamlessly. And let's take and just hide our pentagon. We'll turn it yellow. I'm not going to get rid of it. And this will stitch seamlessly. So let's hold shift. And I'm just going to group it. I'm not going to combine it or anything. I'll go into params. Okay, I must have had this set already. 1.5 and 2.0. I'll hit apply. Make sure your ties are correct. So go into overall. Here, this tab, the fourth one. I have everything set at 6 and 0.7 for stitch length. It makes a good tie when you do that. And just hit apply.